So good evening. I'm Jess Browning. I work at Hospo Voice, and until this year I also worked as a chef for 12 years. I'll have to stand a bit closer. I have a lot of experience in hospitality. I understand the issues that we face, which is what inspired me to get involved with the organisation. So I'm here to talk about Rate My Boss and wage theft, I suppose, more generally. So Rate My Boss followed a survey we conducted last year of 624 hospitality workers. Most of the people who responded were quite young, as you can see. Most of the people in the industry are quite young. 89% were Australian, and 11% of the people who completed the survey are on temporary visas. And as you can see as well, a lot of people working in the industry are casual. So a lot of these things add up to a group of people who aren't necessarily confident about their rights at work, or don't feel like they can speak out, or are afraid about the ramifications if they do. So our survey discovered that 76% of people working within the industry are underpaid, which didn't really come as a surprise, I think, to any of the workers, but did come as a shock to a lot of the other people who heard the results. Some people report being paid as little as $10 an hour, so less than half the award rate. 51% of people are doing unpaid overtime, even casuals. It's really common to hear that, people who are on salaries. It's sort of the new trap, I suppose, is people working on salaries of 38 hours who end up working 50 hours a week, and we've heard stories about that in the media quite recently. And also 41% of people did unpaid trials to get their job, which we've also heard about as being illegal. So in response to this, we developed Rate My Boss. So it's a website for workers to anonymously rate their employer based on respect and wages, because another big issue within the hospitality industry is sexual harassment, which is also another campaign we run, but I won't go into that. So these are the two biggest issues, and the ones that people are most frightened to speak out about. But this site gives people a chance to share this information with other people without being afraid for their jobs, without worrying about negative feedback from their bosses, or having shifts cut, or just not being treated well in general, which is unfortunately also quite common. So we have been encouraging workers since the site launched in December, so you can rate your current, of course, employer, but also any previous employers. The idea is that workers can look up the site and find information on places where it would be good to work, so they can find the good potential employers and, of course, avoid the bad ones. You can use the site in a few ways. You can search by suburb, by the name if you're looking for a particular venue, or by the star rating. So if you want to patronise places that are treating their workers well, you can search just the 5 stars and choose your next dining experience out of the 5-star employers. Similarly, of course, you can have a look at the unfortunately very long list of 1-star employers and try and memorise all the ones to avoid. At this point, there are nearly 1,400 reviews. It's gone up a little bit since I wrote this. The breakdown there for you is so about nearly 1,000 workers have written reviews. Some have written multiple. And nearly half of the reviews are good, which is encouraging, but not quite. There's still a long way to go. So here's a couple of examples for you. I used Barry because I didn't really want to out anybody, but they've become infamous over the last week. I imagine a lot of people have already heard the stories. And I included some a five-star venue as well. So this is the Dan O'Connell Hotel in Carlton, where the workers seem quite happy. We find often the five-star reviews are a lot shorter. There's less to report. They're usually something along the lines of great team, pays properly, recommend. And as you can see, the one-star reviews are usually a lot longer. There are a few more comments to be made about them. So we're really hoping that this tool will empower workers to not only to give them the first step to speak out, because of course that's the key to changing the situation, is having that confidence to start to tell those stories, and to then hopefully take it one step further and tell them more publicly, seek legal advice, go to the Fair Work Ombudsman, and actually start to address the issues. But it's for some people this is a scary first step. So I guess I just thought I'd include what's next. So it's a really great start, Rate My Boss, but of course it's not going to fix the hospitality industry. And so there's a growing group of hospitality workers who are coming together and really campaigning around the issues that are affecting those working within the industry. There's one here tonight who you'll be able to have a chat to later on. And we'll be continuing our campaigns, of course, about wage theft, which just affects far too many people across the board, not just within our industry, and hoping that our criminalise wage theft campaign will be successful. That's about it.
Oh, I'd just like to thank you, Ronnie.